Introducing the Ice-type Sub-Zero line. Though being my least favorite of the starter line, I still find Sub-Zero cute to look at. I mean, it's literally a bear stuffed in a snowball. Sub-Zero will then evolve into Aurora, which is just the average awkward middle stage. I get that its database entry claims it's in a constant state of semi-hibernation, but the dude just looks depressed. Its final evolution, however, Borealis, is a cool design. I like how the ice around him shifts upwards into more spiky armor. What was once a cute cuddly bear is now a beast, like how every bear fantasy beast should be. So overall, I'll give this first set of evolution lines a 7 out of 10. Poruga line is possibly my favorite line in this entire game. Poruga is just a masterful production of taking all the best qualities of turtles and tortoises and putting them together. The fact that the perfect line for these melons being green too makes it so much cooler as well. Embivol is a bit awkward to look at first, not gonna lie, but over time it has grown on me, since you tend to keep the middle stage for a good portion of the game. And yes, this was my starter when I'm playing through the game. Volcadon is great. I'm glad they didn't take the route of just making it a tortoise with a volcano on the back. I think the magma mane it grows and the rock spiked back makes the design feel more blazed, and it's outstanding. I know I tend to be biased towards tortoise designs, but this one is just done so well in my opinion that I have to give it 10 out of 10. The Noblegar line has a fun concept to it. Being a combination of shark and pirate, Noblegar will protect its ring till the day it dies, though I would assume it gets tired of holding it after a while. Sheartooth is not my cup of tea. I don't like how its rings move to the tail when it clearly looks like it can fall off easily and isn't well protected, so I find its teeth goofy and I enjoy that dearly. Megalobite is fantastic. The ring becomes a part of him like a big earring, and it really matches the aesthetic of pirate jewelry. The fact that it is a megalodon with anchor arms as well is so cool. The potent forms also make this creature look so much cooler, though sadly I can't say the same for the perfect form. Overall, I like this line a lot. Even with the middle stage kind of lacking, I do think it is a great line, so 9 out of 10. Swarmy is a little bundle of joy. With those derpy eyes and its body looking like a nut, I was excited to see what it would evolve into. Until I wasn't. Fischl is a cool design looking like a combination of a hornet and a bee, but to me it feels like a final evolution instead of the middle. When it comes to Humby, this is where I just didn't care for the line. Though it has cool ideas for a docile bumblebee, it just doesn't feel like a proper evolution to Fischl, which feels more rage driven. The data entry itself doesn't really help either, as it doesn't mention why it loses a taste for revenge upon evolution. Overall, it's an okay design, so I'll give it a 5 out of 10. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Soquel is a great Coromon with a cool story. Being a mixture of a raven and a crow, this evolution line grows entirely on its greediness. Its design reflects that of having golden features, emphasizing its lust for gold. Guildwig is a great middle stage. It keeps to the ground, but looks ever more sly than before, becomes more golden on its feathers, and grows even more of a meaner demeanor. The fact that the database suggests that more gold can be found in its nests and eggs is just great as well. Goldbeak, though a funny name, now is bigger and prefers to fly. Not just to fly, because it wants to show off its golden side. This line not only keeps a cool design through it all, but each stage grows stronger along with its hunger for gold. 9 out of 10. When it comes to Slitherpin, there isn't much special about it. Being basically a normal snake with crystals protruding through its back, the only thing that makes me interested in this Coromon in the slightest is one of the ways of evolving it, which literally involves walking into the Scorching Sands desert and making yourself faint, which is a very funny way to evolve a Coromon. Serpike as an evolution is underwhelming. It grows a goatee and a bag full of crystals and is longer, and that's about it. While just getting bigger evolutions aren't always a bad thing, Slitherpin already not having much to it, I would hope its evolution would bring more to the game, but sadly it just doesn't do it for me. So with that, I give this line a 4 out of 10. I can't really tell if I like the design of Houndos. Being a blue two-headed electric dog with lightning constantly coming out of its bum, it follows the same trope that everything with two heads seems to follow, and that it's both heads disagree with each other constantly and like they're constantly fighting. The difference for this Coromon, however, is that it's fighting to decide who is the best boy, which is very dog behavior and very nice to see. Its evolution, Houndrion, grows a third head atop of another, and it becomes thick. This absolute of a unit just becomes a dog of hell itself, but instead for Zeus, I guess? I wouldn't want to mess with this thing any day of the week. So overall, I find Houndos a bit weird and underwhelming to look at, but Houndrion makes up big for time for this line. 7 out of 10. Armado is a pretty cool Coromon. It takes the design of an armadillo and a pig and puts the two together and creates this armored little guy. I find it funny that its database says it's always seeking a fight, because usually armadillos are a little more docile. Armado evolves into Armadillo, growing a more boulder-like feeling and becoming bipedal. For middle stages, this one is well done, though it loses a sense of his pig-like features, only really keeping its esteemed sense of smell. Armadon, the final form, is a cool final form. Although I think it's weird to see your first form on all fours end up being bipedal at the end, I still believe that this form does it well. The armor becomes spikier, and it grows cool looking claws, and those arms definitely give it a really good range. When it comes to the Armada line, I originally thought it was going to be the rodent line of the game, but was generally surprised when it seemed to have more to offer. 7.5 out of 10. Sanska, I was honestly surprised to find out, has an evolution. I think this Coromon works really well on its own. It has a good size and design being based on a crocodile, but its tail reminds me a lot of a gecko or a salamander with how it wiggles it around. Its legs being longer and giving it more height actually work well, saying how crocodiles are usually low to the ground. Its perfect form is also a nice texture as well, making it gold and nice purple color. Not gonna lie, before looking it up for this review, I had zero recollection of Cartoon's presence. My entire playthrough of this game, I don't think I've ever encountered one. I also don't really care for its design. It becomes more beast-like by growing bigger feet and the back being more hunched over. But because of this, it feels more like an alternative form or an evolution gone wrong instead of an evolution. I still enjoy this line overall, but I feel it would have been better off if Sanska was left to its own being. 5 out of 10. Bittybolt is a competition winner. Quite literally. Coromon ran a competition to implement a custom design into the game, and the winning design was Bittybolt. Honestly, not knowing what the other options are, I'm glad Bittybolt won. This adorable baby tiger is one of the cutest Coromons in the game, and the way it wiggles and smiles makes me want to give it tons of pets. Bittybolt evolves into Torbolt. I really enjoy this evolution as well. It manages to keep the cuteness of Bittybolt, but also manages to make it more intimidating at the same time. The added effect of electricity running through its body adds a sense of character with its typing too, which isn't really seen in the other Coromon yet. So yeah, this is a great Coromon. 9 out of 10. Bolby and its evolutions probably bring out some of the biggest changes per evolution. Bolby starts off as a cute little round rock with a bit of piece of it missing, exposing its magma core. Its little arms and legs makes this adorable as well. Multi, its evolution starts showing just how bad the leak gets and forms into a more lava guy with its eyes still stuck in its little rock shelter. It also grows hands using lava and rocks, which is neat. Ashclops is an unexpected evolution, but a welcome one. Its rock surrounding its eye splits in half and becomes elbow guards. It also learns to float. However, I find it sad that it's constantly crying out its eye. The Bolby line is cool, reminds me a lot of Slugma and Macargo, but also remaining unique to itself. So, with that, I give it an 8 out of 10. Bittybolt is a force to be reckoned with. I know I said these reviews mostly focus on the looks of the Coromon, but man, this guy was scary to fight in battle. But anyways, besides that, Bittybolt is a cool looking crab. Its shell is more rock-like, I guess, for camouflage purposes, which is pretty neat, thinking that Coromon would need a camouflage. And its eyes being in the shell give it a false sense of cowardice, which it definitely does not have. Claw is a real monster though. It becomes a massive crab that really just wants to protect its territory, but people always get that false sense. Its look also reminds me of a Droideka from Star Wars, but without the ability to roll around. So overall, I don't have much to say about this line, besides it looks cool, and they are strong. 7 out of 10. Waffle is a cute little creation of a mole and a weasel, so I think Worm fits in there as well. Though it only shows its arms, it is inclined that it doesn't really have feet, but it does show a tail at its end, but it's kind of like the mystery of Diglett and Doug Trio, which we'll never know if it has feet. I really like this thing for no reason other than it looks cool and it's just cute looking as well. Its evolution Digmo is just a longer Moffle, and you'll never believe that its final evolution, Dougterra, is just a mega long Moffle. Its potent and perfect forms for this Coromon are super cool as well. So overall, even though this thing just kind of gets longer over time, I still really like its design and I think it looks super cool as well. 9 out of 10. Buzzla is a little electric larvae. Its blank stare somehow makes it look cuter, but scarier at the same time. Its little feet too add to the creepy crawly as well. Bazzer, its evolution, is when things take a turn. It starts to grow rhino features and its little legs become buff and gain actual feet. This is actually an insanely cool middle design, which feels rare nowadays. Rhino Buzz takes it a step further and becomes a giant generated rhinoceros beetle thing. Looking at the design makes me sad because it didn't show up often in the game, as I certainly would have used one on my team if so. This line starts off weird, but just becomes a more badass over time. 8.5 out of 10. Lunar Pup is adorable, though I don't understand how it never gets tired keeping that little raw floating over itself all the time, unless it's like a zero effort type thing and it's just attached by magic. When it evolves into Lunar Wolf, it is no longer a pup and grows into a more wolf appearance. It's like in the name or something. The moon rock also becomes horizontal and looks more like one of those neck holders that you would use on a plane, but it also gives it a more beast expression, which it really lacks in Lunar Pup. The Cliptor looks fantastic. It becomes more fully fleshed out and just cooler looking than Lunar Wolf. It also gets back its more friendly characteristics that seem to have been missing from Lunar Wolf. The perfect forms for this line is also cool, as well as turning them into a cool red reminding me a lot of a Blood Moon, which is awesome. Overall, I really like this line design, and I kind of wish I used one on my team over the cat. 10 out of 10. Trio is okay. Tri-Peak is okay. Tri-Beast is okay. Overall, an okay design, cool idea, not my favorite. 5.5 out of 10. Brennan is just an egg with feathers that you can't even use in battle, which kind of makes it useless, but it's okay. Pyro Chick is actually pretty cool. I tend to like that it's just a fire chick, a basic design, but it works really nicely. Infinite's design is something I really enjoy. It grows a ton from being a pyro chick, but what I like most about it is unlike most Phoenix designs, it doesn't try to show off its strength and beauty in its pose. but instead it looks a bit more chill and devious. Overall, the idea of having a first evolution that can't even battle is a weird concept to me, but for the most part, these Coromon are well designed, I think are pretty cool overall. 8 out of 10. I don't really feel anything for AC. I don't think it's a bad design, but I also don't think it's the most exciting. It's just a little ball of lightning with a color scheme that doesn't really reflect electricity to me. Like, is it salmon coloring supposed to represent metal? If so, it's awkward position that doesn't really make sense to me. Like, why would the metal be there? DC fixes this issue though by making the metallic part of its body the salmon color and the rest being white, representing the cloud. So it's obviously a cloud. For some reason I keep getting sheep vibes from it. Overall, this line is not bad, but not great. Maybe I'm just a boring eye or something. 5 out of 10. During my playthrough, I didn't really give Corruptile a lot of attention, but after trying to figure out my opinion about it, it has changed during the creation of the script. The thing is just a wild mix of a cool looking animals being mainly crabs and a raptor, which I didn't even realize before, but is a great combo. Then it becomes Chiraptor, and gains a freaking scorpion tail. Not only that, but it doesn't even use the tail to sting, it uses it as a pogo stick and to launch itself at things. This line went from okay to amazing to my eyes. 10 out of 10.